Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Rakakwadash, Mama. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Salutations to the sincere Aki pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Karab Bani Asharala coming out of the Lions Den camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out with a little lesson. The type of that lesson is be ye steadfast and understanding. You know, you have to be solidified and or confirmed in the things that you know. The wisdom that you have in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You have to be as a mountain, as a tree, steadfast. But without further ado, get right into the scriptures, let them speak for themselves. This is Sirach chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, "Winnow not with every wind, and go not into every way, for so doth the sinner that hath a double tongue." See, you got to winnow not with every wind. Don't be so caught up in all these different beliefs, these different philosophies and doctrines, and go not into every way. Don't go unto these different beliefs and doctrines, because that's something that a sinner and or a transgressor of the laws and commandments of the Most High would do. That's what a sinner does. A sinner has a double tongue, a double mind. So you got to be steadfast in what you believe in. Especially if you coming down to these scriptures, the truth of Yahweh Bahashem Shai, you got to be steadfast. You can't winnow. You can't be caught up in this doctrine and this doctrine. You can't be left and right and all over the place. You got to be steadfast. You got to be solid. You got to be confirmed. Verse 10, my point. It says, "Be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same." You got to be steadfast in your understanding. Steadfast in your understanding of this truth. Steadfast in the understanding of the wisdom of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and let thy word be the same, and let your word line up. Let your speech line up with the scriptures. Let what you speak out of your mouth line up with the truth. Salaki. This is verse 11. Salaki, bear with me. "Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer." You got to be swift to hear. You got to be quicker to hear than to speak. If you're listening, you are showing that you have understanding, that you have wisdom, because you're being swift to hear. You're being quicker to hear. Let your life be sincere in the truth, and with patience give answer. With understanding, with patience, with wisdom, give an answer. Instead, be steadfast in your understanding. Verse 12. "If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth." If you do have an understanding of something, answer your neighbor. But if you don't have an understanding, don't say anything. Don't say anything out of your mouth, because you could make yourself look like a fool. You could show that you lack understanding. You can also show that you're not steadfast in your understanding. So we got to be steadfast in our understanding. This is Sirach chapter 4, verse 23. It says, "And refrain not to speak when there is occasion to do good, and hide not thy wisdom in her beauty." Don't refrain not to speak when it's a time for you to speak. Don't hide your words when it's a time to show your understanding, when it's a time to show how steadfast you are in your understanding. Don't hide your wisdom. Somebody may need to hear it. But for the most part, the main point of this lesson is to be steadfast in your understanding. This is Sirach chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 21. It says, "Seek not out the things that are too hard for thee, neither the things that are above thy strength." Don't try to break down things and or try to take on things that you have no understanding of. That's why the point of this lesson is be steadfast in your understanding. Be steadfast in the understanding that the Heavenly Father has given you. Be confirmed in that. Be solidified in the level of wisdom that He has given you. Again, seek not out the things that are too hard for thee. Don't seek things that are above your understanding. Don't seek things that are too deep. You might not be ready for certain things in the scriptures according to the truth. Continuing. "Neither search the things that are above thy strength." Verse 22. "But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence. For what is commanded of you by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, you think upon that with reverence, with respect. For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret. For it is not needful, honestly, for us to know everything sometimes. So we have to be steadfast in our understanding that we have already. This is James chapter 1. And if you want more understanding, this is what you're supposed to do. If you want more wisdom, this is what you do. This is James chapter 1, verse 5. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. When you need, or you want more understanding, or you feel like you need more understanding, or you lack wisdom, you got to ask the Most High. He giveth wisdom to all men, liberally, freely, and he upbraideth not. I mean, he don't hold it back. He'll give it to you. But verse 6, but let him ask in faith. So you got to ask in faith. If you are lacking wisdom or you want more wisdom, ask in faith. Nothing wavering. Don't be shaky when you ask the Most High to increase your understanding. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind, tossed. See, when you waver, you just like water being blown with the wind. You're a wind. It's like the current the wind is driving the current in whatever direction that the wind is driving that water. That's how you would be likened unto. But if you lack wisdom or you lack understanding, you ask the Most High for it. He will give it to you liberally. He will give it to you freely. He will not hold it back. This is Proverbs chapter 9, verse 9. When I get to it, there we go. It says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will yet be wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. See, if you give instruction to a wise man, he's going to become wiser. If you teach a just man, a righteous man, an upright man, he will increase in learning. He will become more steadfast in his understanding. He will become more steadfast in the wisdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, if you are teaching him the truth. Verse 10. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the holy is understanding. See, the fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the holy, the sanctified, the set aside, the truth is understanding. So we have to be solidified. We have to be steadfast in our understanding. It's not the last point. This is Job chapter 12. Verse 11, it says, doeth not the ear try thy words, and the mouth taste his meat? This is a question. You listen and you hear a lot of different things, just like you eat food and your tongue tastes the food. Well, guess what? Your ears taste words, for lack of a better way of explaining it. But your ears try the words, meaning they'll try the words of they will try the words. Your ears will try the words of understanding, to understand what is being spoken about or what is being taught. So again, doth not the ear try thy words, and the mouth taste his meat? This is a question. Just as sure as you listening and you swift to hear, you build an understanding. You becoming steadfast in your understanding, just like as if you was to taste meat with your tongue, or you was to eat some food. Now, last point. Salakia. This is Sirach chapter 36. I'm going to read verse 18 and 19. It says, the belly devoureth all meat, yet one meat is better than another. See, the belly devoureth all meat, but yet one meat is better than another. Let's say, let's use contrast and comparison. Physical meat. Let's say pork is not good to eat, but let's say you eat some lamb. Well, that lamb is better than that pork you're eating. And the same thing applies to a spiritual aspect. If you're eating spiritual meat, it's some meat that is meat that is better than the other. Basically, the truth is better than the lie. Righteousness is better than wrongness. Verse 19, last point. It says, as the palate tasteth diverse kinds of venison, so doth the heart Salakia, of understanding false speeches. As the palate, as your tongue tastes diverse kinds of venison, diverse kinds of meat, well, guess what? So does your heart, your la'ab, test words, test understanding, test false speeches. This is how you know. So you have to be steadfast in your understanding, so that you will know when somebody is telling you the truth and when somebody is lying to you. Without further ado, Shalom.